Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Togba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Togba. My name is Bekfina Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we bring it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Tobo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience.
Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Togba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Togba. My name is Bekfina Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the women voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC, CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Pleasure to be here to bring you informative update regarding our nation's Liberia. So this program you are watching this morning is the program Inside the Print Media on Foca Online TV. Inside the Print Media is an informative news program where we highlight all of the trending stories in the various newspapers. So this morning we have varieties of newspaper in our possession. We have the Daily Observer newspaper, we have the Front Page Africa newspaper, we have the New Dawn newspaper. Lastly, we have the Hot Pepper newspaper. So let's run strictly over to the Daily Observer newspaper. McGill shielded by presidential anonymity. That is what the Daily Observer is asking. McGill shielded by presidential anonymity. Chamber Justice Kabal right rate of prohibition called into question. The Supreme Court is expected to decide whether former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Nathaniel McGill should have testified before the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission after being accused of impropriety regarding a supplementary payroll scandal over the inclusion of 728 names outside the framework of the Civil Service Agency. The court is expected to decide whether a presidential appointee like McGill, who now serves as Senator of Margibi County, is entitled to absolute immunity and unrestricted protection from judicial review from his alleged unlawful actions. The High Court interventions into the LCC investigation resulted from an alternative rate of prohibition issued by the presiding Chamber of Justice Yusuf Kabide. The justice issued an alternative rate of prohibition temporarily halting the LCC investigation until meeting between McGill legal team and the LCC. Before the stay order, McGill on Wednesday, August 21, appeared at the headquarters of the LCC and started complying with the anti-graft entity. The LCC sought to determine if the supplementary payroll was established under McGill instructions, whether any illegal activity occurred. McGill was also requested to provide written documentations on the issue. These legal notices, commonly referred to as the subpoenaed or testificandum, and subpoena disus tecum, requires a witness to appear and testifies about their knowledge on a specific matter before a court of administrative body. They also mandate the witness to present specific written documents, books, or papers relevant to the case held under the control or in their custody. With these two subpoenas, LCC was determined to establish whether the supplementary payroll was established under McGill's instruction, and if so, LCC wanted to determine whether a crime was committed or who committed it. Interestingly, instead of continuing with the investigation, McGill invoked the doctrine of presidential anonymity and constitutional protection to shield himself from any judicial review or adjudication, asserting that certain actions undertaken as Minister of State were protected under Article 61 of the 1986 Constitution. Under this doctrine, all matters discussed and resolved by the presidents are constitutionally immune and protected under Article 61 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia. As such, discussions, conclusions, and holding reached by the President McGill argued shall not and are never be investigated by LCC. According to McGill, he is legally immune from criminal investigation as his actions were carried out under the President's instructions while serving as the President's principal assistant He argued that presidential acts are protected from investigation under the Constitution. McGill further argued that the payroll pardon in question by the Ministry of State done by him is an action of the President of the Republic of Liberia. Regardless of whether it is acceptable or not, the LCC cannot question this action. All and every official act by the Minister of State is covered by immunity, including but not limited to signing payrolls and checks for employees and contract with him and without the executive branch. And as such, actions being the work of the office of the president are protected under the executive privilege, and the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs is statutorily and constitutionally prohibited from indulging certain information in any investigation proceeding, especially regarding national security, diplomatic negotiation, or internal executive deliberations and administration, McGill noted. According to McGill, he is legally immune from all criminal investigation because his action then, as Minister of State, were performed based on instruction and directive given by the President, whose office he formerly occupied as the President's principal assistant in keeping with the law. McGill, however, revealed Article 61 of the 1986 Constitution, which provides that the President shall be immune from any suit actions or proceeding, judicial or otherwise, and from any arrest, detentions, or actions on account of any act done by him while the President of Liberia pursuant or any provision of the Constitution or any other laws of the Republic. Do the presidential directive come with immunities? Why the former Minister of State, now Senator McGill, is seeking recourse from the Supreme Court in response to ongoing investigation by the LCC, which suggests that he should be held personally accountable for implementing a directive from his boss. The case of former defense minister served as a notable legal precedent in this context. Semeka, similar to McGill, claimed to have followed instructions from former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in their misappropriations of funds related to the armed forces of Liberia. Despite his defense, the Weah-led government prosecuted him and he was found liable. The ruling of the case emphasizes the principles of individual responsibility for government officials, even if instructions were given by superiors. This underscores the message that adherence to potentially illegal directive from higher authorities is not a valid defense. McGill's decision to return to the Supreme Court may be a strategic move to proactively prevent or delay investigation that could lead to legal repercussion. This approach suggests a concern that, like Semeka, he could be face potential liability of any misconduct, irrespective of his claim of acting on presidential directives. The fear of potential legal and political consequences seems to underpin McGill's action, particularly in light of the court's stance in the Semeka case. McGill's strategies is influenced by the ruling against Semeka and the implication it carries for his situation. The implication of the judiciary decision extend beyond legal consideration to political repercussions, which could impact McGill's standings and credibility. The legal precedents established in cases like Semeka's underscores the importance of individual accountability in public office and the judiciary role in upholding the rule of law impartially. So with this being said, this is how we move to another development on the Daily Observer newspaper. ECOWAS promises support to Liberia's membership quest. ECOWAS promises support to Liberia's membership quest. As reconciliation, nation building top discussions with President Boakai. So let's give you this content. The president of the Commissions of the Economic Community of West African States, Oman Toure, has pledged the regional body support for Liberia bid for non-permanent membership of the United Nations Security. At a meeting with President Joseph Boakai in Monrovia, Toure said the commission would ensure that the sub-region support Liberia to acquire the seat at the United Nations Security Council. The ECOWAS Commission President is leading a high-level powered ECOWAS to Liberia. The Liberian government announced in June this year that it could contest for the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. A campaign steering committee was named, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sarah Beslow Yanti, disclosed that the campaign could begin in September 2024 at the UN headquarters and AU headquarters. This initiative aims to secure a non-permanent seat for the 2026-2027 term. She noted the campaign will focus on promoting international peace, security, and cooperation. The committee seeks to engage member states through diplomatic effort, highlighting the candidate's commitment to upholding UN principles and addressing global issues. The ECOWAS Commission President's latest commitment is therefore a huge boost to the Liberian campaign initiative. Reports indicate that Toure have been having meetings with other leaders of the regions in this regard. Tuesday's meeting with President Bouakai was an opportunity to discuss crucial issues related to the nation's building, reconciliations, and Liberia's future. Toure expressed gratitude for the warm welcome and formally congratulated President Bouakai on his election and the peaceful transfer of power, recognizing the significance of his achievement for Liberia and the sub-region as a whole, emphasizing the importance of nation building and the show ongoing effort for ECOWAS in President Bouakai's effort to lead Liberia. Ambassador Toure noted, nations building is important and we will continue to support you as president in your effort to lead all of Liberia, with ECOWAS remaining at the service of the country. In response, President Bouakai expressed appreciation for the visit and highlighted the positive impact of ECOWAS elections observation mission during the 2023 electoral process. The president commended the Liberian people for their dedication to the peaceful transition of power and stressed the focus of conflict prevention, service inclusion, security sector enhancement for regional stability. He outlined a vision for Liberia as a peaceful, transparent country that upholds freedoms and inclusivity for all citizens. Liberia is in the next 2 years will be an example for the region, a peaceful and transparent country where all citizens, including opposition, can enjoy freedom and transparency, Bouakai said. Discussions during the meeting also included progress on establishing World and Economic Crime Court, addressing regional challenges as a proxy world engaging country, considering leaving ECOWAS and uniting the region stands for the upcoming United Nations General Assembly. President Bouakai reaffirmed his dedication to transparency and accountability in achieving the arrest agenda, aiming for reconciliation and progress. Both sides highlighted their commitment to cooperation and dialogue to tackle Liberia's diverse challenges and promote regional development. Key attendees from the ECOWAS commissions included Ambassador Adolf Fatou Musa, Ambassador Josephine Nkrumah, Ambassador Nathaniel Walker, representing the government of Liberia, where the Ministers of State Sylvester Grisby, the Minister of Justice, Councillor Oswald Tuet, National Security Advisor Anthony Samuel Kofi, who's legal advisor to President Councillor Benjamin Keita, Molly P. Kamara, Ambassador Hassan Conte, Deputy Foreign Minister Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Yen, and Councillor Adi Ahmad, and Ambassador George W. Wallace. So let's begin to acknowledge some of our followers who have been following us this morning. Eric Palo calling, following live from a comfort zone. Haji Sam Foray Emmanuel Fode, I'm following from Cape Mount. So we want to appreciate all of you who are following. Let's go over to the Front Page Africa newspaper this morning and see what the Front Page Africa newspaper is reporting this morning. What is the Front Page Africa newspaper reporting this morning? ECOWAS Commission President attribute lingering government's opposition political impasse to miscommunication. CDC respect for partisans' rights. ECOWAS Commission President attributes lingering government political impasse to miscommunication as CDC urges respect for partisans' rights. Let's bring you this development. Tuesday was a busy day for Mr. Oman Ali Touré, the president of the ECOWAS mission, as he led a series of meetings in Monrovia with key Liberian stakeholders, including President Joseph Boakai and former President George Weah, who leads the nation's largest opposition party, the Coalition for Democratic Change. The meeting followed a raid on the CDC headquarters, which led to a violent altercation between the police and CDC partisans. The incident prompted former President Weah to complain to ECOWAS Commission's president, describing the raid as an unprovoked attack on his party's headquarters. Although ECOWAS stated that Touré's visit to Liberia was not a direct response to Weah's letter, he appears to be playing the role of mediator between the Liberian government and the CDC. Addressing Liberian media after the meeting with Weah at his residence, Mr. Touré stated that the ongoing political impasse was discussed extensively with both parties, who expressed their commitment to promoting peace and reconciliation. Certainly, it is no secret that former President Weah has written me about his concern, and those concerns were raised with the governments and with the President Weah himself. Touré said, I can say that the government is not oblivious of some of these concerns. We have received some explanations, and some of it is a matter of miscommunication. We encourage all sides to communicate more effectively and to avoid misunderstanding. This is an ongoing process, but what is important is the commitment from all sides to work towards the peace and development of Liberia. Touré emphasized that his visit to Liberia was principally to congratulate both President Boakai and former President Weah, as well as Liberian, for the peaceful transition of power. He stressed that the reconciliation is now the way forward. Beyond the transition, our purpose here is to support reconciliation. A president may be presented by one political party, but once elected, he or she serves as the president of the entire country, Touré noted. Mr. Touré added that he had discussed with President Boakai the importance of serving as president for all Liberians. Relationship with political parties and stakeholders are important. Where there are concerns, it is ECOWAS' role to investigate and ensure these concerns do not hinder nation building, which is critical. In the closed-door meeting, former President Weah reaffirmed his commitment to peace, security, and democratic consolidations in Liberia. The message was also taken from President Weah in that he stands for peace and security. He supports accountability and believes in transparent initiative, Touré said. There should be a sufficient consultations. Whatever is done should be inclusive to avoid sending the wrong signals. Citizen rights were violated. Then Eugene Nangbe, who was present at the closed-door meeting between ECOWAS Commission head and former President Weah, disclosed that Weah raised several issues about his party face with the current administration. These included concerns over the roadblocks of the rule of law and the misuse of prosecutorial powers to advance political interest. He called on ECOWAS through President Touré to initiate an early warning mechanism to ensure the countries remain stable. Nangbe said. He added that Weah also spoke about a meeting made by President Boakai and some members of the legislature regarding erasing the CDC, which Weah formed alignment. Certainly, it is no secret that former Weah has written me about his concern, and those concerns are raised with the government, with the president himself. I can say government is not oblivious to some of those concerns. We have received some explanation. Some of it is the questions of miscommunication, and we encourage all sides to communicate on that misgiving, as the result of miscommunications can be avoided. This is an ongoing process, and what is important is the commitment that all sides are willing to work for peace and development of Liberia. Nangbe also mentioned that, contrary to the widespread belief that CDC is not interested in the fight against corruption, the party's officials and members were served during The WIA-led administration are cooperating with authority to respond to the audit reports. Our issue is when you weaponize the system. Nangbe responded, you cannot claim to be fighting for justice and ignore a Supreme Court ruling that prevents you from removing someone from tenure, only to use the same judicial system to prosecute your political opponent. This sends the wrong message. He added that ex-President Weah was very emphatic, and he asked ECOWAS to inform the administration that the fight of the CDC is peaceful. That doesn't mean that we will sit supinely and allow our rights to be violated. Yes, the president is a man of peace. Finally, he said we should inform President Bouaka that the CDC will never and never be erased by anyone because it is our God-given right to exist. So anybody wanting to erase the CDC might themselves get erased. Then Eugene Nangbe, special assistant to ex-President George Manning Weah. Nangbe also highlighted that the raid on the CDC headquarters, where police and armed LDA agents allegedly used their lethal and non-lethal weapons against partisans. We are a democratic political party where we participate in elections. We will not tolerate violations of our constitutional rights. President Bouaka pledges freedom and transparency. Earlier Tuesday morning, President Bouaka met with the visiting ECOWAS delegation according to a release from the executive mansion. The meeting provided an opportunity to discuss crucial issues related to the nation-building reconciliations and Liberia's future. President Bouaka stated, in the next 2 years, Liberia will be an example for the region, a peaceful and transparent country where all citizens, including the opposition, can enjoy freedom and transparency. He reaffirmed his commitment to transparency and accountability, emphasizing that the arrest agenda could be steadily achieved and that Liberia could continue to make and strive towards reconciliation and progress for all. With this being said, this is how we move over to another development on the front page African newspaper. Supreme Court to decide former Chief Justice Gloria Mususka family fate in final ruling today. Wow, that is a landmark legal case. Many of us have been following this case for why, and today is a day that the Supreme Court is expected to head down the final ruling. We don't know what the outcome of the ruling will be. But we are following this case religiously, like we have always done to other legal cases in Liberia. So, Supreme Court to decide former Chief Justice Gloria Mususka family fate in final ruling today. The fate of former Chief Justice Gloria Mususka and 3 family members who are serving life sentence for murder hangs in the balance as the Supreme Court of Liberia is poised to hand down is breaded on an appeal filed by defense lawyer against the lower court guilty verdict. Criminal Kusi Fomu, Councilor Scout and her 3 family members guilty for murdering her daughter Chala Musud at her house, at her residence in Broadway outside Monrovia. The Supreme Court verdict is expected to be handed down by today, Wednesday, August 8, 2024, when the fate of Liberia former female Chief Justice Gloria Mususka and 3 of her family members are to be decided. The High Court might have the sitting ceremony of a newly appointed and commissioned Associate Justice CNN Clinton Johnson. It is still not clear whether the Supreme Court will close for its March term of court while awaiting the opening of October term of court. During the legal arguments in Gloria Mususka's case on July 16, 2024, state prosecutor told the Supreme Court that they convicted Justice Scout on circumstantial evidence. Some legal analysts said that the lines of question by the justices of the Supreme Court may indicate that the life imprisonment imposed against former Chief Justice Gloria Mususka and 3 of her family members will be reversed. The jury of criminal court C in last year unanimously pronounced Justice Scout and her co-defendants guilty for allegedly using a kitchen knife to stab Shala Musu to death. Based on the jury's verdict, Judge Roosevelt Willie immediately sentenced the defendants to life imprisonment despite the defendant challenging the judge's decision and appeal against it to the highest court, which appeal argument is scheduled on Tuesday, July 16. During the argument, Councilor Bobby Livingston led government lawyers who pressed for the conviction of former Chief Justice Gloria Mususka and 3 of her family members told the justices that the state case was based on circumstantial evidence. While arguing for nearly 3 hours, Councilor Livingston repeated, "Our case theory was based on circumstantial evidence since the defendants failed to point out who did the killing. Circumstantial evidence is direct evidence that does not, or in its face, prove a fact in the issue, but gives the rise to legal or logical inference that the fact exists." At that point, Chief Justice Gloria Musu and Chief Justice Sianen Yo asked Councilor Bobby Livingston whether all of the defendants took the knife at the time to stab Chala Musu to death. Former Associate Justice Cabinet Janet, the lead defense lawyer, raised 5 key issues in the counter argument. Firstly, he questioned whether the state have met the evidential standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt, as required by the law to individually and collectively convict the defendant on the capital crimes of murder. Alternatively, he challenged whether the state had established a prima facie against the defendant sufficient to justify a judgment of conviction. Councillor Gannon further argued that the state lawyers failed to present a single eyewitness to the alleged murder, as detailed in the indictment. He contended that the state did not prove the case beyond all reasonable doubt, citing conflicting forensic and circumstantial evidence introduced during the trial. So this is what the Front Page Africa is reporting. All eyes will be at the Temple of Justice on today to see what will be the outcome of the court, of the highest court ruling relative to the famous this famous legal matter between former Chief Justice Gloria Musu and her family. So let's begin to acknowledge some of our followers. Thomas B. Cassell is following this morning, and we want to appreciate Thomas for always following. So at this point in time, this is how we will move over to the Hot Pepper newspaper, and after the Hot Pepper newspaper, we wrap things up quickly from our end. Let's go to the Hot Pepper newspaper and see what the Hot Pepper newspaper is reporting this morning. President Bouaka makes compelling case for investment in Liberia. That is what the Hot Pepper newspaper is reporting. President Joseph Bouaka delivered a compelling keynote address highlighting Liberia's investment potential at the 124th National Black Business Conference in Atlanta, Georgia on August 23, 2024. The president's message focused on the vast opportunities for investors, particularly businesses, to leverage Liberia's natural wealth. He highlighted the country's fertile land and favorable climate, offering significant potential for agricultural investment, especially in rice production. With a substantial potential of our country's rice consumption being imported, the Liberian leader emphasized the critical need for its local productions and downstream processing. He also underscored the significant contribution of cash crops such as rubber, cocoa, coffee, and oil palm to the growth of agriculture sector, presenting or pursuing investment avenue. Moreover, he welcomed investors to explore their investment potential across various sectors in Liberia, reiterating the country's commitment to fostering a business-friendly environment. Outlining Liberia's arrest agenda, the president emphasized that the government focused on critical interventions in agriculture, infrastructure, education, health, tourism, and spur economic growth and development. He extended an invitation to the attendees, encouraging them to consider Liberia as an opportunity and promising destination for investment opportunities. He extended an invitation to the attendees, encouraging them to consider Liberia as an open and promising destination for investment opportunities. President Bouakara emphasized the enduring legacy of the shared journey and the impact it has had on mutual aspiration for progress and prosperity, and commended the conference as not only a platform to promote Black business enterprise, but a celebration for the remarkable ties across the Atlantic. The Liberian chief executive paid homage to Booker T. Washington, acknowledging his profound influence on Liberians and the broader African American experience. He highlighted the establishment of Booker T. Washington Institute in Liberia as a testament for Washington's vision for education, economic empowerment, a self-reliance and inspiring generation for Liberians to pursue education and business endeavor. In closing, the president highlighted Liberia as an attractive investment destination, showcasing the country's commitment to partnering with Black businesses and investors for mutual economic advancement and prosperity. The address was marked by warm greetings to the address and highlighted the deep ties and links between the people of the West African continent and the South African diaspora. So with this being said, this is how we go over it again by recognizing some of our followers who have been following us this morning. Eric Paulo Collins saying, following from my comfort zone. Hadi Sanfore Emmanuel Fode say, I'm following way from Way Cape Mount. Thomas B. Cassell. Thomas is a respected media practitioner also. He is following this live broadcast from his residence in Bannersville. So many thanks to all of you who have been following this live presentation this morning. My name is K. Lyndon Toba, and this is how we choose to call your day on today's presentation. We will definitely be here tomorrow. We are having a little issue with our television and with our radio. As a matter of fact, we are unable to bring you this program on the radio, but we will definitely try to resolve it. And our technician is currently here to have every other necessary situation resolved.